never mind. It appears I have lost the red pillow. I have no idea where it is. I've looked all over the place. I actually don't know where the red pillow is. So this is a bit annoying. This stream might not be up to the quality that you guys are all used to from me, but next time, hopefully, I'll have some kind of replacement. It's a bit weird, though. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, someone might have broken into my house and stolen the pillow. Anyway, back to the present. I haven't streamed in ages. Part of the reason I did that was because, of course, I went to Germany for a holiday, and then when I came back, I was kind of recovering from jet lag, and then I actually got sick, and I was sick for about 2 weeks almost, and I'm still kind of recovering, but I'm kind of fine on it now. So anyway, it's been about 2 months, I think, 2 months plus possibly since the last live stream. No, I don't think my roommate stole it, because I believe he left much before I actually moved rooms. So maybe when I moved rooms, something happened. I might have actually just repurposed it. I might have put like a different pillowcase on it and put it somewhere on like a couch, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna go tear out. I'm not gonna go and take off every pillowcase right now and see where the pillow has gone. But I actually believe it might be in the living room. Anyway, all that aside, let me do some stuff. So Sparky's actually, I've been working on Sparky secretly while you guys have, you haven't seen any streams, but I have been working on it. It appears I hit 400 followers on GitHub, so thank you for that. Anyway, and 118 stars, that's not too bad. Anyway, so Sparky, here's the deal. Yeah, so you can see the last commit was about 21 days ago. I've been working on it a bunch since then. If you actually check out the branches, there are a fair few branches like 3D frame buffer and development. I don't think any of them are kind of active. I've merged in a lot of the stuff from frame buffer, for example. I think in development, I don't even know what is in development. Added lines to render. Oh yeah, stuff like, oh look at this, GitHub thinks I changed the whole file, probably because of the new line characters and whatnot. That's a bit annoying. Anyway, so anyway, excuse me, there have been quite a lot of changes that you guys wouldn't have seen, and I might take this time to catch up a little bit. Remember, the stream, will be going on a channel on YouTube. In fact, let me just find that first, called Cherno Archive. So if you missed the beginning of the stream or something, or you want to watch the stream again, which you probably do, you can go to the Cherno Archive channel. Now, the problem with that is that it doesn't currently have a name, but I believe I'm on 500 subscribers now, so I can probably name it, right? That's what they told me. They told me I could... Country none. Let's set that to Australia. They told me once I hit 500 subscribers, I could change my name. Oh, I could get a custom URL. Now it just says learn more. So, oh, okay. So here we go. Turns out to be eligible, you need 500 more subscribers. Check. 30 days old. Check. Haven't done that and haven't done that. So let's quickly get some art going. Let's see here. Paint.net. So we need a Cherno archive. You know what? I'm actually just going to take the art, my existing art, and just put it on that channel. I'm sure no one will care too much about that. I don't think YouTube will, at least. They might be like, hey man, you're infringing the copyright of the Cherno project, and I'll be like, it's cool, I am the Cherno. But that might not happen, so we'll see. Anyway, brand, okay, so here's my other stuff. So how do I do this? I know you guys are not seeing this because it's on my other monitor, but it's happening. Let's see, where is this? Branding? I guess. Add a watermark? No, that's not it. How do I guess I just go to the channel page, maybe? View channel. Here we go. Add channel art. Okay, brilliant. So, that's the big banner thing. So recommended channel art size 2560 by 1440. Oh, that's some nice Android resolution there. I don't know why it wants me to have something that large. What if I just upload a what if I just upload this? Will it care at all? Whatever. Alright. Yeah, upload that puppy. I don't know if YouTube will actually notice. Yeah, that's pretty good. Select. Auto enhance. Yes, please. Yeah, okay. Whoa, okay, it made it grey. That's interesting, YouTube. That is interesting. Let's just select that. And then for this, I edit on Google Plus. For this, I'm just going to just use my normal avatar, which is this thing. No, I don't want to crop the most important part. Alright. Okay, brilliant. So, now we've got some art. Now I should be able to get that custom URL, right? Oh, come on. What are you doing? No. This is the worst. Anyway. Let's see. Why is that taking so long to propagate? In other news. Let's see here. I need to quickly get the latest Sparky, which I think is this. Might be wrong, but we're about to find out. So where is Sparky on my computer? Okay, it's right here. Let's just paste this in, see what happens. Alright, so I'm getting the latest Sparky stuff. Yeah, so I don't think... May take a few minutes to show up. Okay, maybe that's right. Now, where are you guys at? Okay, let me, By the way, guys, if you have bugs with Sparky, there are two ways you could proceed. You could go to thechannel.com, go to forums, and in the Sparky, if it's a bug, you probably don't want to post it here, but if it's like a suggestion or something like that, or you just want to say something about Sparky, then you should post it here. If it's an actual issue, so if it is a bug, the best thing to do would be to go to the Sparky GitHub page and then just open an issue over here, okay? And that way, I can actually keep track, I can basically keep track of the open issues and make sure that stuff has been reported and fixed and whatnot. Basically, it's an issue tracker. So that would be, that'd be nice. And even if the solution is really trivial and it's something that you can fix yourself or something like that, obviously if you post it, then it gets written down and it gets tracked and it gets recorded, which is also important. I know there are actually 22 open issues right now, which I should fix, but yeah, lower support, lol. Okay, so anyway, let me open the chat in a thing here, so I don't have to watch my own stream, because that could lead to bandwidth. Is the stream fine, by the way? Is anything lagging? Is anything really bad or anything? Okay, let's open Sparky. Alright, so there have been a few changes. You may have noticed, first of all, 2 new projects. since last time. So I'll go over this quickly. And just keep in mind when I'm explaining things, I'm also just explaining them for the sake of people who watch this on YouTube on the Channel Archive channel. So yeah, if this was a live stream, I probably wouldn't bother explaining it too much because obviously people come and go. But because this does get archived, and I'm sure people will watch this as it gets uploaded and whatnot, I kind of treat this almost as a video as well. Anyway, so basically we've got two new projects. We've got Sparky CLI and a C# project called Sparky CS or C#. So for those of you who haven't already guessed, basically I'm going to write a C# kind of binding for Sparky so that you can write games in C#. And the reason I'm doing this is for a few reasons. First of all, if I ever want to try out something, or if anyone really wants to try something new, like for example, I'm like trying to maybe, I don't know, let's just bring something up. I'm trying to integrate some cool system for occlusion culling or something like that. And I'm like, I really wish I had a test bench. Then obviously that's, you know, an idea. For example, I'd rather write that in C#. Using Sparky instead of C++, using Sparky just because it'll be quicker and it's a bit easier, and you know, for general tests and whatnot, it's just a really quick way to do that. Also, we're going to need a C#, I guess, binding anyway, because when we write the editor for Sparky, which is going to be like the level editor, kind of like what Unity's got going on, but for Sparky, that will be written in C#, so we need access to Sparky there as well. And then that's pretty much it. Those are pretty much the big reasons. So one, we'll need it anyway for the editor, and B, just being able to write games in C# quickly is a good idea. Java I might do later on, because Java is actually much harder to set up than C#, just because Java's JNI doesn't support objects. So basically I'll have to kind of wrap, it'll be just way harder, okay? I'll have to basically rewrite a lot of the code in Java that just kind of, because you can only have procedural support, whereas with this you kind of don't. Anyway, it's not too much harder in Java, but it's just, you know, like we wouldn't be able to have it in Visual Studio and it'll be a mess. Excuse me. So anyway, those are the few things I've added. I've also added some more things that I believe you guys would have not quite seen yet. Let me just go through Sparky Core and see what's new. Yes, so I got rid of the GLFW dependency. So we used to rely on GLFW, and you may have noticed the GLFW is now no longer on the list of our includes. Okay, we've still got glue, and I'm actually probably going to get rid of that in the coming future. But right now we don't have GLFW anymore, because what I did was I just wrote 200 lines of WinAPI code to get that window going, and that was enough. So there are a few things missing from here, but for the most part, and it's actually a bit dodgy, this took me about an hour and a half or so. I just kind of rushed it to get it done quickly, and there probably are some bad things going on here. But I don't know, I've actually got some decent logging going on here, so it seems to work pretty well, so we'll roll with that. So that is new. I believe the application stuff might be new. I'm not sure. Nothing's changed in maths, I don't think. Graphics. Frame buffer, that's new. So we now have a frame buffer we can render to. I put in a post effects system. So we've got, yes, we should always be using Windows line endings. I'm not sure why this happens, but it's really quite upsetting, because that ruins everything. Anyway, where is my chat? Here it is. Let me just Okay, so I'm just reading some of the comments in the chat. So can you repeat what you were going to make with the C# project? Basically, right now, the C# project is just a sandbox. It's probably not going to be used as often as the C++ sandbox for testing things whilst developing, obviously, because as soon as I add some kind of new API method, basically I'll have to update the CLI manually for that, which is not too fun, because I am writing the CLI manually. I don't have some kind of crazy generator. However, it's good to incrementally kind of do stuff. So you can see that right now, what I've got in C# land is this. So that's simply called Sparky CLI, and then we make a window, and then we have this mouse here, which prints to the console and whatnot. And if I run this, I'll have to build it first. This might take a while. If I run that, then are those errors? Hope they're not errors. No, they're not errors. Then there you go. You can see. So this is running from C# land, and it's just a black window right now because I haven't actually finished any of the. But you can see how the mouse and whatnot work. And I actually had no idea that it keeps track of the mouse even when it's outside of the window. That's pretty cool. I guess that might be a side product. Look at that, all the way out to the other monitor. I guess this might be a side product of the rewriting everything into the Win32 API. Maybe GLFW didn't actually do this, but it's fine anyway, because you can see that 00 is up here and it goes all the way to the end of the screen. Anyway, that is cool. So yeah, that's being run completely from C# right now, and the reason I haven't got anything more exciting, and the close button apparently makes it very sad. The reason I haven't got anything else, oh no, it doesn't actually, it's because I got the read line here. Yeah, because the close button should make it sad. So let's, I didn't recompile it. Not sure why this doesn't automatically compile, it's a bit weird. If I close this, yeah, fine. Okay, so the reason I don't have anything more impressive here, like sprites or whatever, like what I had in the other Sparky sandbox, is just because I haven't actually written the bindings to that yet. So if we look at what CLI's got going on, it doesn't really have too many things. I started with the sound manager stuff, so it's kind of got that going on pretty well. I might talk about, you know how I said I would make some kind of, like devlog videos regarding Sparky's development and maybe explain one bit of it or something. I'll probably explain all the CLI stuff in one of those kind of videos, so I'm not going to do that now, but it's pretty straightforward. Basically everything extends this managed class thing, which essentially is just a it's just a templated class which keeps track of an instance of the native class, and that's it. And it's pretty straightforward. All right, cool. So this is unbelievable. I don't know what's wrong with my line endings. It's a bit weird. But anyway, apart from that, everything is pretty cool. It's just, as you can see, it's just a wrapper, literally, because that's why it is. Anyway, we could keep going with that today, but it might be better to maybe work on some more engine stuff instead. Okay, so I've got this post effects thing going on. So right now, I believe, well, this is a blur shader, but this is just, this is just going to set it to be basically black and white, because I was testing a few things. However, I believe I broke this when I rewrote something, so we're going to take a look at what the C++ sandbox does. But it was a bit weird. Okay, so first of all, the FPS looks like it's just off the screen, which, well, it's not anymore. Okay, second of all, that doesn't resize probably the way it should. There is a strong possibility that I introduced a vast plethora of bugs when I actually got rid of GLFW and wrote my own Win32 window class. But that is a possibility. So if there are some things that are just wrong, you might have to bear with me as I fix it. For example, I believe... No, window resize should still be a thing. There are some weird things going on, I do have to say. So if we take a look at Sandbox, let's see. Where is the FPS being printed and what kind of thing are we setting up? So we've got a mask as well. No, we don't. Okay, debugging. Okay, so looks like FPS is being printed to FPS.text. So it's right over here. So I wonder if that's just too much. Because what's our the best thing we could really do right now is just try and add a new sprite that is at, say, 16, or rather maybe 15.9, I guess. Sorry, yeah. What's our matrix? We could say something like 15.9 and then like 8.9 with a size of, it doesn't really matter, and a color of, let's just say blue. I believe that'll be, because it's totally flipped. And we could see if that is in the right spot, which I expect it will be, but oof, maybe it's not. Yeah, so there we go. So that's supposed to be in frame, kind of. Otherwise, it may actually look like we're not getting the entire context. It may look like this part of the window is actually being factored in to the drawing area, which is a little weird. Excuse me. Yeah, that does look like what's happening. I guess that would be that's a bit weird. Let's just quickly look at our window. It would be one of these flags that I stole off one of my other projects that are probably wrong. So let's take a look at create window EX. And as you can probably tell, I'm using the ASCII version of all of these because I believe we're not compiling in Unicode mode anyway. But I don't want to use the macros. Where is this? Character set, multi-byte, good. Scripting's using Unicode, and this is also multi-byte, so these should all be multi-byte. Which is a bit, I don't even know what, like, because Unicode is multi-byte anyway. Unicode wide characters, which take up 2 bytes. Anyway, this seems to be ASCII, which is what we want. Or ANSI, A-N-S-I. Alright, so what do we have here? Where's my create window? Okay, so I suspect it's one of these things. So extended window style, we'll take a look at that, and we'll probably also take a look at the 4th parameter, which is just the DW style. Window style values. Alright. So, which ones do we use here? Out window and window edge sounds interesting. Window has a border with a raised edge. Yeah, okay, that's actually normal. 3-dimensional border. Tool window. Yeah, this stuff probably isn't too... What is an overlapped window? So the problem right now seems to be that it's treating the title bar as part of the OpenGL context, and as you can see, everything's being obscured by it. So it really should be like that. And And I believe that's just something in my window code because I didn't used to do that before I rewrote all the window stuff. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure. I wonder if the mouse also is like that. So if we just go Sparky info window dots get mouse position. Oh, really? That's unsupported? Hang on, let me just quickly add that to my logging system. I thought I already did this. Maybe this was on another branch. Yeah, I totally don't have it here. Alright. We'll quickly add effect 2 to the code. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Return. I'll just use string to construct it. Oh, I probably don't want to do that actually. Oh, yes, it's probably something to do with the window rectangle stuff. Alright, so let's quickly do this. String, oh, what's the best way to do this? It's really not going to be easy, is it? Alright, anyway, string equals, let's just say std2 string. We could just return a not const char, right? I don't know. Std2 string t.x. There might be a more efficient way of doing this. What am I doing? So we could even just do a mem copy, I guess, but it's gonna ask me for the size. Is it? No, it's not. Okay, brilliant. So that will probably work. I don't think it's too efficient though. Oh, wrecked. Alright, if maths isn't included, that could be a problem. Because maths will probably include log. That's actually really bad. Oh, maybe it doesn't. Okay, let's just include what we need here. So maths vec2. All right. So it does seem that that's 0, 0. So that's fine because you can see that's. Wait. That's 0, 0. What the hell's that? Whoa. Whoa. That's an error. They're the same. Oh, brilliant. Some brilliant programming there. Okay, where's the get mouse position? return mouse position. That seems to be correct. What's mouse? That does seem to be correct. That does seem to be correct. That's a bit weird. And that's just where when it gets pressed anyway. Oh, hang on. It'll be the logging thing. It'll be the logging thing. That's wrong. Yep, here it is. Lol. Well, of course I wouldn't be logging things to the console if I wanted performance. This is just for debugging though. Obviously, nothing will be logged in a distribution build. Alright, so now that we've got proper things, it looks like I'm still right, and that is negative space. So, adjust window rect seems to be the pro strategy. Let's see. Oh, of course, because client versus window size, yes. Okay, pointer to a rect structure that contains the coordinates of the top left and bottom corners of the data client area. Okay. The window style of the, no, that you cannot specify the, okay. Right. Oh, I'm sinking, aren't I? Let me just... This chair, I swear, just keeps kind of just dropping lower and lower, so excuse the half my face in the frame thing, it should be much better now. Okay, so what was I doing? Okay, collect the window rectangle can then be passed to create a window to create it whose client area is the desired size. Okay, that makes sense. So let's do this. That's not what I want. So where do we make the window? Right over here. Where's the size we specify for the window? Okay, so right before we do this then, what we will do is, where's our window style? Overlapped window. Why does it say that we can't specify the overlap style? Oh, that's not the overlap style. But that is. So do we just do that then? I don't know, I'm actually a bit confused. But let's see what we can do. So, rect. What is it? LP rect. Surely rect is just the thing. Anyway. So there's our size. Wait, what exactly does this do? Hold on. I believe it, I guess it just writes it back to us, but how does it know what we want? Hang on. Let me just read the documentation a bit better. The coordinates of the top, left, and bottom right corners of the diet. Okay, I get it. I get it. So our desired client area will be... Let me just take a look at this structure. Yeah, here it is. It's just a rect. So left, top, right, bottom. So left, top, right, bottom, eh? Left, top, right, bottom. Width and height are unknown because they're actually that. And then we should be able to do size dot right, I guess. Size dot bottom. And I have no idea what the other thing is. We got with height and then XY. So I guess we just add, this isn't weird. Let's just see what happens here. This might work. Very weird though. Very, very weird. Very interesting. Is that working? Okay, so that same shit. Let's see what it did. We can close memory for now. Right, so that did nothing. I guess I don't understand why it doesn't want me to pass the style over. Wait, what is the style? Maybe that's the style. Maybe I'm just totally wrong. Yeah, maybe this is probably the style. See what happens here. That's probably correct-ish. Alright, so I guess it just needs to control the... That's a bit weird that it... What's the point of giving me that if I can't really specify... Because I get what it's saying, but like... I get what it's like, it's... I can't do much with the X and Y though, can I? Like, what am I supposed to do with the X and the Y? This is very fishy, this whole thing. Very fishy. Very fishy. Lol, I just don't want to deal with this right now, so I'm just going to I'm just going to do this instead. Don't you complain. Oh, it's... Because that'll totally work. Ish. Does that work? That should work. Oh, I don't want to do it this way though, because this is obviously just a hack. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll leave it as that for now. But it's a bit weird. It's a little bit weird. Okay, let's quickly do this. I was already doing that. Okay, so my sprite should be at the very end there. So can I see that? Not quite. How much further do I need to be out? Quite a bit actually. So this looks like what it should be is around that, which is like, well, it's not saying, but that is what it should look like. So there's still not enough. Yeah. And I'm guessing if I do this, it'll just move it. Or maybe I'm just, yeah, I'm not using EX. Which is kind of the same, but it takes 2. Okay. Okay. So what does this want? Style and then X style. So that's the X style and that's the style. Except it's the other way around. Cool. So the normal style goes first. And then that. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Alright, so, ooh, top minus 31, that looks promising. Why are you not focusing? Let's relaunch that. Now my window will not focus. Where the hell is it? It's probably because of what I did here. That was a bit weird though. Oh, yeah. Alright, cool. So, now I just need to make it even larger based on that. Oh, this is just annoying. This is just really annoying. Hell am I doing? Is that correct? I think so. Totally fine. This will totally work. I guarantee it, almost. Yeah, there we go. That's perfect. You can see that blue pixel is right there. Call it a hack, call it whatever you want, but it works, so issue closed. Mark as fixed. Okay, cool. We will be what was I doing? We will probably mark that as a to-do because I'm not happy with that. Where's my window gone? Did I close that? I would have closed it. Let's... Excuse me. Okay, cool. So, needs, requires. Okay, anyway, case closed for now. So, we fixed that little bug, which is good. I believe that's pretty much it. So we've got that good. That's going good. Let's check out what's wrong with the postfix and whatnot. There have been some really weird things that have been actually happening since I introduced, like, some weird things that have been happening with frame buffers and whatnot. First of all, postfix right now just does not work for some reason. The target is the buffer. Okay, so the buffer versus screen target is good, right? Assuming it works. So we can alternate between rendering to an off-screen buffer and then copying that buffer onto the screen when we actually do the buffer swapping. Or we can render straight to the screen, which is fine. Well, obviously it's still rendering to a buffer and then flipping it. Otherwise we would see flickering all the time. But yes, so there was an interesting bug with frame buffers, which I think I'll just show you guys real quick. Basically, the texture that you create for the frame buffer, what was our default here? So M bits, what was M bits set to, if nothing? So 24. So if we set our default M bits to 32, and I don't know if this will happen here, actually I haven't tested it on this computer with these drivers. Yes, you see that text? You see how much worse it looks? You guys can, I don't know if you guys can see that because of, oh wow. I don't know if you guys can see that because of the stream compression and the video compression, but look at that. Like that's the screen that's to the buffer. Like look at that. That looks noticeably just worse. It's like it's thinner and it's more aliased. It's weird. I guess when it renders the text glyphs and it uses like half pixels in terms of it renders colored text, like I forgot what the term for that is, but when you use colors to kind of render to half pixels, I guess that just gets destroyed if you add an alpha channel, and so it renders to the wrong channel, and something happens, and you end up with this instead of that. But that was very, very interesting, and of course you can see that if I stop this, and this is hilarious, I like the big screen here, and I change this back to 24, which means that would be created by that would be created with just an RGB rather than an RGBA texture. And I launch that, you can see that when I switch that, no difference, which is what we want. So that was a bit weird. That took me a while to figure out, and I'm not even entirely sure why it was happening. So that's an interesting adventure, that was. Okay, cool. Anyway. What was next on my list? Next on my list. Yes, so post effects. I don't understand why post effects are broken. Excuse me. I hate this freaking cough. Been coughing for a while now. Alright, where is this? Batch renderer. So, post effects pass. So let's do this. So, if we've got a buffer up, which do we? Yes, we do. Post effects enabled. Oh, post effects is probably turned off. That would explain a lot of things. Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't, because I turn it on, don't I? So, post effects buffer and then on. Alright, let's take a look at it now. Post effects enabled? Yes. So render post effects. So frame buffer. Okay, let's maybe switch to debug mode. That may be smarter. Maybe. Maybe it is a binding issue. Target buffer, okay, good. So that's good. Frame buffer is, let's see what the frame buffer is. Okay, it's valid. Screen quad to IBO, everything's fine. Let's go into the post effects. We bind the target. Okay, that's the frame buffer. We got one thing, we're going to render one pass. The shader is totally legit. Yep. Okay. Cool. I guess I just started typing and I was like, nah. Okay, so we've now rendered it to the buffer. So now we switch to screen buffer. This does not make any sense. This should totally be working. That's totally fine. What shaders use their simple shader? What happened here? I don't know why I've got CLI errors now. That was weird. I didn't have them before. Anyway, this is slightly odd. Yes, I would be using the text from the shader. I'd be getting nothing if something was broken, surely. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this was working. Is that set up properly with GL errors? The frame buffer stuff? Yeah, it is. It's logging set up properly, so it's not. We're not getting errors, are we? I would have noticed them straight away, surely. Let's check post effects. Let's check the shader, is what I meant. Yep. Okay, well, I don't see how this could be correct. Like, I don't see how this could be wrong. They're gonna get mad at me for that. If we just try and render literally a white screen. Oh. Okay, that's fine. Oh, so what? Is it rendering it behind it or something? What on earth is going on? What are you doing? What is up, man? This was working before. I understand if this wasn't working, but like, it was working. And then something broke it. Severely broke it. So this is post effects on. Except, you know, it's kind of behind everything, which doesn't make any sense. What? Let's try this. I mean, I'm guessing this is correct. Oh, hang on, no, that's off. That's correct. The absolute shit is going on. It's just, I guess it's rendering the same thing in front of it. What is up, man? Let's just remove this draw call, see what happens. I mean, I suspect I'll get a black screen. Oh my god, I didn't. Okay, so there we go. Oh no, that's correct. My bad. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so for those of you watching, right now, basically, so what post effects does is, well, right now, all it does is basically, if you're rendering to a buffer, you can take that buffer and run a shader through it, so that you can apply some effects to it. And then, of course, it will take the resulting buffer and show it on the screen here. But what seems to be happening is very weird, and I actually don't know what's up. So, yes, it's weird. Right now the post effect system will not work with multiple draw calls either, because it'll keep flushing it. That might be happening, but I do doubt that. I don't think flush would be happening more than once per frame. It shouldn't be. I mean, we can double check that pretty easily. If I just go here, and I should kind of just bounce between the two. And I am. So it's happening once per frame, which is what we want right now. So we draw all of our stuff to the buffer, which is what happens here. If we've got a buffer active, that's where it draws everything. Then it comes down here, and only if there's a buffer and post effects are enabled, it will render those post effects to that buffer, then bind back the screen buffer and draw to the screen. Which sounds correct. Simple shader should be set up correctly as well. is, I'm guessing. Yeah. It's a bit weird. This looks fine. I mean, I'm guessing an IBO would be bound anyway. In fact, well, nothing gets bound here, but it should get bound in postfx. So you can see the bind vertex array and indices happen here. And then I guess it should unbind at the end, just for catching errors and whatnot. Let's see if that reveals anything. Weird source. Weird. This used to work, man. Okay. So, basically, what happens is, where's my chat at? Here's my chat. Okay, so I know you guys are super curious as to what's going on because I'm being a bit silent because I'm trying to work this out. But basically, maybe there's something disabled in my sandbox. Let me just quickly step through this. So, okay. So basically what happens is we load in a shader as a postfx pass. Postfx is turned off by default. Let's turn that on. So just so we don't have to hit the button. So what happens is when we go and render our stuff, if we are rendering, so this is in our batch render now. If we are rendering to a buffer, then what should happen is so we bind the buffer, which happens here. We render all of our geometry to our buffer. And then what we do is when we come to flush, we draw, well, this is what actually draws the geometry to the buffer, right? And then what happens here is if, so this happens, yeah, so if the target is set to buffer, it will draw this to the buffer, okay? Otherwise it'll draw it to the screen. So then over here, if the target is set to buffer and postfx are enabled, it will render postfx. And all that will do all that should do is basically set a texture to a shader, and then run, and basically just try and draw the texture on the screen, but with the shader. So the shader will do all the post effects. So that's pretty straightforward. So then obviously you can have multiple passes here. So this will just set up a matrix. I guess I could, yeah, it needs a target for that, sure. Okay, and then it draws that, quad with the texture, right, onto the screen, and then it comes back. I'm so lost right now. Then it comes back and binds the screen and draws that texture that has the post effects applied to it to the screen in one swift step. And that's it. But something is going horrifically wrong somewhere, and I don't know why. Worst explanation ever, but like, you know, I'm pretty tired. And also, it's weird. So this is just a blur shader that was active before. It's currently turned off anyway. Right now, color is just set to the UVs of the quad. But, like, so basically what we should get is a gradient with nothing. Just a gradient. So these sprites and the text that is showing off in front is extremely weird and basically should not be happening. Because yeah, it's weird. Because the only thing we should be drawing to the screen is the quad. You know what we could do? That's... Oh, what's up? What is up with this? I'm actually extremely confused. Okay, let's step through this properly. Let's try and debug this. I don't even know why, because it seems like it should work. Let me just, I'm sure it's something really serious. I mean, sorry, I assume I keep saying the opposite. I mean, I'm sure it's something really simple that I've just accidentally done. And that's somehow ruining everything now. Unfortunately. Okay, let's step through this. I've had enough. Let's see what happens, just out of curiosity. What happens with the mask? So mask is active. Yeah, looks like absolutely nothing. That's very weird. Alright, let's step through this. So, render. In we go. Shader bind. Yep. Render begin. So render is buffer. Yep. Viewport size find. It's not going to recreate the frame buffer. Frame buffer is set up to be 1280 by 720. Totally fine. Clear color is set to... Ooh, clear color is set to a weird value. I wonder if that's... That's a bit weird. Let's just set the clear color up properly. I feel like it should have been set up properly anyway. Alright. So we'll set it to black by default, I guess. See if that magically fixes it. It'd be a bit weird if it did. No. Alright. Didn't think so. Where's layer render? This is ridiculous. Alright. So, render begin. Does that. binds the frame buffer, which just calls bind frame buffer with frame buffer ID, which is valid, and it sets up a viewport. Correct. Clear. Clears it to black for the buffer bit and the depth buffer bit. Correct. Binds the VBO. Correct. Maps it. Also correct. Now we submit all of our renderables. So it submits it. Don't really care about this. What is it? 00. What renderable is this? 0088 color. Texture ID. I didn't know we had something at 00. Did we? Seems a bit weird. No, we did. Oh, that's right. 0 is the center. I thought 0 was a corner, and I'm like, I don't remember anything in the corner. Okay. Don't care about this. So let's just go to the end of that. Is there more? Okay, there's more. Renderer end. We'll unmap the buffer and unbind it. And then flush. Go through all the textures, of which there are 2. Bind them, whatever. And I guess draw it. That sounds fine, right? Yeah. Alright, we bind the vertex array, bind the IBO, draw elements. How many? Okay, 12, that's correct. We're drawing 2. Actually, is that correct? What about the text? What happens to the text? Maybe, when does the text get drawn? How does the text get drawn? What? Oh, it's a separate layer. I think. No, it's not. Where? Oh, I guess I skipped. That's wrong though. Hang on, I'm confused. I'm confused at my own code. 12. Well, if it ran through drawstring, it would be much higher than 12. Maybe, is this the first frame? Maybe there's nothing on the first frame. That would make sense. Okay, IB on bind, vertex array gone. Good. So, that's all done now. Now we enter the post effects thing. So post effects is enabled. So our frame buffer and our quad and our IBO. Totally fine. We bind the frame buffer, which does this. So we're drawing back to the same buffer that we drew from, basically. That's fine, right? What do we need now? No, we don't need another buffer, do we? No, it's totally fine, I think. So we're drawing back on the same... Are we? Hang on a minute. What's target? I guess we just pass in frame buffer. Yeah, okay. So we're drawing on the same buffer that's currently bound, which is a bit suspicious, but I think it's fine. Okay, so we bind the texture. So the texture is bound at slot 0, or at least should be. We bind the vertex array, which is just a quad. We bind our indices, which are totally valid as well. And then we flow through the shader. Get width, get height, totally normal. We draw the elements, that's fine. I might try to toggle that in a minute. No more passes, done, 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 done. So then we do this stuff, simple shader bind, and then we do the final draw call, which just draws 6 things. Okay, so first up, let's disable this. Okay, that's correct. This is what our intended result is, by the way. This is what it should look like regardless of what's going on. Except it somehow manages to draw on top of it. I wonder if that's because... No. See, that's weird. It's very weird. Okay, anyway. Let's try not to draw the post effects at all. So if I come over here and I go into the render pass and I just don't perform the draw, what happens? We get nothing, which is also the expected result. Oh, this is actually kind of frustrating. Something wrong with that? No? Alright. Is everything being cleared? Is the screen even being cleared? I assume so. When does the screen get cleared? I guess when we call clear at the beginning of the frame, right? So layer calls it, right? Or does it? I have to, where am I calling? Let's just quickly find where GL clear is called. Here we go. Window clear. Okay, and then in frame buffer. So window clear seems to be the correct method. So where does that get called? Not interested in this. That's CLI. Frame buffer clear. Maybe we don't call it anywhere. That seems dodgy. Oh, we do. Window run. Application run. So we definitely clear the window here. But what? Let's just try and clear it somewhere else as well. We definitely clear the buffer as well. Let's clear it right before we... Okay, that's fine. Let's just clear it here. GL clear. And see if this does anything. Huh. This is going to be lovely when I fix this, because right now it's just annoying as shit. Yeah. I just don't know what's happening right now. Okay, new strategy. Let's share this. This is literally impossible. This is literally impossible. Unless it's drawing something twice because it wasn't unbound properly. That seems to maybe be the answer. Because I actually can't imagine it being anything else. This is what we do here. We draw 6 indices. They are the quad. If we get rid of this draw call, we get nothing. If the target's set to buffer, you can see it's just black. Right, that's if we set the target screen. It doesn't matter if post effects is on or off, as you can see, it's still black, which is the expected result. does not make any sense. Hang on. What is it? Okay, there's the texture that it's drawing. What if we didn't do this? No difference. Texture 0, eh? Frame buffer to get texture.bind, which is going to bind to the current texture, which is slot 0, and the shader we're using is simple shader, which is set to 0, and simple shader is this little puppy. So let's set this to something else. White. Okay, now we're getting white. This makes so little sense. This is extremely weird. I don't know, man. I don't know. What is going on? What is going on? This is crazy. It has to, that other geometry must be getting drawn that other geometry must be getting drawn sometime after we draw the texture. However, it doesn't get drawn if we don't draw the texture. This is actually the weirdest thing I've possibly ever seen. Okay, let's start doing some other things. Let's divide this in half and see if we see what happens. Okay. It's not even in half. Oh, it is actually. What the hell happened there? Let's change. Oh no, we shouldn't do that. What? It looks like it scaled everything in half, but then it made this go to like a quarter. Okay, so they're definitely in the quad. Look at that. So everything's being scaled in half. That's being scaled more than in half. What is going on? What the hell? Okay, post effects off. We're making a buffer that's half the size. Correct. Oh, actually, hang on. Maybe I know what's happening. It still doesn't make any sense though. So we've got our original buffer. Maybe this could be solved by just creating another buffer. Yeah. It's all a bit fuzzy. Yeah. What's up, guys? So basically post effects is for post effects. I mean, it's for post effects. So think of like color correction, bloom, any kind of screen space kind of thing, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to try and create another buffer for the post effects thing, and hopefully that just works. Oh, I don't know if it will though. I'm not really too confident right now. We don't need to, oh, we need to bind it to clear it. We should do that here though. And we shouldn't need to, I guess we should. All right. So here's what happens. Target becomes post effects buffer. We have a source. Chances of this working are very slim because I don't see why it's not working in the first place. But it's not a bad idea to try something new. All right. What was it source then target? No. It's this way. So source target. We can probably optimize this later. All right. Let's see what happens. Oh my god, I think it worked. Holy shit. I think that worked. Are you serious? Let's try it full size. Holy shit, it worked. Oh. How was that the problem? This worked, man. I tried this on a different computer with not the same graphics card, and it was fine. Why would this be driver specific? Oh, that doesn't make any sense. I shall discuss this later, but that is weird. Alright, yeah, okay, well I'm glad that's fixed, but man. That doesn't make any sense. Well, the drivers on the two graphics cards would be different, yes. So I guess the DLLs would be different, yes. It is driver racist. For those of you watching the video and have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm replying to some of the comments. Yes, drivers are the worst, especially Android drivers. Android drivers are the worst. Anyway, this is an Android, thankfully. I don't know if this problem would happen on Android, actually. I bet it would. I bet the nothing would run, though. Anyway. Sparky Engine Android coming this summer. Australian summer. So, winter for all of you people in the Northern Hemisphere. Anyway. I haven't tested this on an AMD card yet, actually. So I wonder if it would even run. I'm sure some of you guys have AMD cards and would have run Sparky. I assume Sparky has been run on AMD cards. But who knows, man? Who knows? Anyway, let's see if we can get some interesting things out of our post effects, such as black and white. So, color equals texture text fsn dot uv. So let's just double check that. So we should get the exact same thing as the original now. So as if post effects doesn't get applied, brilliant. And now let's make it black and white. So this is what people were asking why I have post effects. This is an example of why you would have post effects. Color equals vec4 color dot. So let's just copy the red channel everywhere. There we go, black and white. Look at that. This isn't really black and white. If I was really going for black and white, I'd probably do something like float average equals color dot r plus color dot g plus color dot b divided by 3, like that. And then that would be a better black and white algorithm. There are actually quite a few. There we go. That might be slightly better color balanced. Anyway, look at that. See, this is why you would use post effects. This is an example. You don't have to use it for this purpose, but you can. And this would work with anything, like 3D scenes, everything. I actually can't wait to get some 3D into Sparky. I've been working on that on the side, actually, but eventually I will probably write some 3D stuff because I like that. It's fun. Anyway, that's an example. And then finally we've got a blur shader, which last time I checked wasn't actually working properly, but let's see if... Oh, it totally works. There we go. There's our blur shader. So you can see how blurry that is. And it's actually only doing a horizontal blur right now because we can have 2 passes for both. Excuse me. There are many black and white algorithms out there. One of them is averaging the colors. There are quite a lot. There are probably better ones out there as well, like the luminance one. Anyway, there's our exciting blur. Let's turn the radius down a little bit. So we've got a pretty cool blur shading there. So this is post effects on and off, as you can see. So pretty cool difference there. Yeah. So that is the idea. Pretty cool. All right, let's catch up with the chat a little bit because I feel like I've accomplished a lot now. Drivers are the worst, yes. AMD is bad, yes. Does the game engine support MIDI music? No, it doesn't right now. I don't suppose Gorilla Audio would support MIDI. Probably not. Why would you have MIDI music though? I mean, if you want to have certain music, just bake it, so to speak. Just record a just make it a WAV file or an OGG file, and that's that. I mean, I guess MIDI would probably, if you had your tracks as MIDI, it would depend on what you played it through. Like, anyway, I don't know why you would have MIDI music, basically. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I guess because it's MIDI, you could do some pretty crazy transposition with it. I don't know. I mean, it's not like you can't do audio effects with any, with it's not like you can't do audio effects with WAV file, like normal audio files anyway. All right. Yes, so if you have issues, post it onto the Sparky issue page, which actually is still open. So just post up your issues here. I don't want to see it grow every time I refresh, but anyway. You should submit an issue. What game are you on, EA, are you working on? So right now I'm working on the new Need for Speed game, No Limits, but I'm on the engine team, so I kind of work on usually the engine unless we're like preparing for a release and everything's on fire, which is pretty typical. But that's kind of what I'm working on now, and that's it's coming along, let's just say. Okay, cool. Anything else? You can turn some channels on and off and create cool effects. Yeah, you could do that with MIDI. But the thing is, like, I don't know. I don't think that would be something I would do too much. Like, just coming from experience. And I mean, I'm a musician, so it's not like I don't care about music in games or something. The No Limits game engine is it's called ISIS, so you can find that out with a simple Google search. But so that's fun. So I work on ISIS, and I can't believe I said that on stream. Hopefully, no one's really watching this. But yes, it's a fantastic name. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's about it. So that aside, it's not capitalized. Like, it's not, yes, exactly. It's this lowercase kind of Isis, as in the Greek or the whatever Egyptian goddess. I actually don't know. Now I'm Googling Isis. This is beautiful. Egyptian, yes, not Greek. Egyptian goddess. Glad we cleared that up. Yes, I know, it's an unfortunate name. I didn't go for it. Besides, the Islamic State is now renamed as Islamic State, so it's just IS, I think. I think they've gone with that now, but people just can't drop ISIS. So, that's the deal. Yes. It's fun, let me tell you. Alright. So, yeah, hopefully no one just, like, sound bites that. Alright. Anyway. Blur shader. Pretty fun. Cool. So, my work here is done. I'm glad I fixed that bug, though. And I'm actually quite surprised it worked. But unfortunately, when you develop engines, you will come across certain things that work on different architectures, different platforms, different drivers, and then don't work on other platforms, architectures, drivers. So this is an example of them. Some things, like a lot of you people included, have been opening up posts on my forums and posting GitHub issues being like, my shader didn't compile, but it's exactly the same as your code. Why is that the case? And unfortunately, things like the shader compiler for like the GLSL shader compiler is actually implemented in your graphics card drivers, which means that NVIDIA and ATI, whatever, they write their own, and with different versions of NVIDIA's drivers, they might change certain things, right? And so it might work on certain drivers, but it will not work on other drivers. Or it might not work on other drivers. So unfortunately, that's just the case, because OpenGL isn't really a thing. It's not like, oh, I'm using OpenGL version 4.5 and so are you, so everything is identical. Nothing like that. In fact, if we launch the game, you might actually see that it doesn't just say that when I ask for my GL version, it doesn't just say 4.5. It says NVIDIA 355.60, which is the NVIDIA driver version that I'm actually using. So that's also an important bit of information. In fact, we can get some more information out, which we should have probably done a while ago, but I believe we can get some more information out, excuse me, pretty easily by just asking for it, really. So we can get GL renderer, and then we can get GL vendor. So OpenGL is simply a specification. A lot of people don't realize this, and I love it when people are like, where do I download OpenGL from? It's so cute. Yeah, so you can see that we've got the version, right, including the driver, which sometimes they won't have the driver, which I think is just terrible. Then we've got the GL renderer, which is actually the graphics card and what it supports, like PCIe. I don't even know what that, like, isn't that just like an express slot? I don't know. And then SSE2, which we will be using later on. Anyway, and then we've got the vendor, which is NVIDIA Corporation. So, let's maybe order this a bit better, since I put this in now. Maybe we'll do something like this, because we're exciting. So we'll have the vendor. We'll have the vendor. We'll have we might have the version, and then the vendor, and then the renderer. Or something like that. Cool. So that works pretty well. Only thing I may do is indent this a slight amount. Or in fact, maybe just this. Yes, I like formatting my logging. It's fun. Cool. You know what? Maybe just like a little bit. Yeah, that's right. I love doing this. This is great. All right, there we go. So now we've got some more information about what you're actually using when you happen to be OpenGLing, which is a bit important, especially when people start to get problems and they're like, what's going on? And then I can be like, you're using an Intel like 3000 series integrated graphics chip. That is your problem, and you should stop doing that immediately, or something like that. So that's the idea. Anyway, I think we're about done. So yes, so we did a few things. Actually, let's commit this now. Now that I'm back to streaming, kind of, we can commit this, and this is going to be a big commit because it's just got so much stuff that's going on here. You guys are going to see so many files. Look at this. Look at this. How are these modified? What the heck? What? It's probably because of those line endings, man. Son of a mother duck. Yeah, of course they're identical. Oh. Worst. See, now I don't know what's actually modified. You can see all the stuff that's new, though. There's quite a lot. Here's a question as well that I guess I'll answer. With the tons and tons of functions, calls, etc. in DirectX and OpenGL, do people even use all of them? Or are a lot of them just good to have APIs? A lot of them are legacy things as well. I don't know too much about DirectX because I haven't really used it too much. But I think DirectX really likes removing old stuff. OpenGL doesn't, though. So there's a lot of like deprecated functions basically. Like you'd never use GL begin, GL end, and like GL vertex, all that immediate mode stuff, or GL display lists, and you'd never use all that stuff, but they're still functionally available to you in the you can still use them basically. So there's obviously a lot of things that you wouldn't use, a lot of things that you don't need to use sometimes, but you'd never use all of the functions. I mean, if we go to an OpenGL header file. So what would include this? GL. So glue. This is the header file. There's 19,000 lines here, right? And my computer's kind of struggling to run through this. But if you look at this, like look at this, all of this stuff you would never use anymore. Like look at this, GL color, all this stuff. No, this is all like immediate mode stuff you wouldn't use. You know, a lot of this stuff I've never used personally because I've never had to. But the thing is, you have to remember that a graphics API is meant to be, you know, kind of universal and applicable to everything. So like, whether that be like just graphics visualization applications and whatnot, like imagine you're in the field of medicine and you're trying to make some kind of heart visualizer like for your 3D scanner, you know, and all this different stuff, and games as well. There are different things that you might want to do. For example, you know, copy pixels and whatnot. You might want to, I don't know, grab a capture of the current frame buffer and then send it off the network to someone else so you can stream video of what you're rendering. And there's just a lot of things you could do that, for example, a game engine wouldn't really do, I guess. All the lighting stuff you would never use anymore. That's the fixed pipeline. GL normal. See, I'm just going through this stuff and just none of it is really important. GL rect, see, I've never even heard of that. And my Visual Studio really can't handle this file. Well, these are just function pointers to those functions. So yeah, I would say that you absolutely would never use all of the functions. This is so big. Yeah, you'd use a fair bit of them, but you know, not too many. All right, cool. What happened to your Ludum Dare game? Unfortunately, I got sick while I was doing Ludum Dare. So I on the Saturday, for me Ludum Dare starts midday Saturday and ends midday Monday. So on Saturday, I started it, I was streaming it, and then, like, I was feeling pretty bad towards the end. I had, like, a fever, and then by Saturday night, like, I went to bed at, like, 6 o'clock. Well, I went to bed, watched, like, some TV shows or whatever. Then I fell asleep. And then in the morning, I woke up, and I was just sick. So I was like, I'm just gonna stay in bed. So I just didn't finish a lot of that. Which is unfortunate, because I've never done that before, but, you know. Yeah, you should never really write games in Flash. Flash wasn't really meant for games. Anything else? Was that about it? I'm using a scripting for the web, yes. I don't like Qt Creator. I remember attempting to use it for a bit. I hate the whole Qt crap. To me, it looks like a terrible API, and I would never use it, honestly. I mean, if you're on Windows, you should be using, like, probably not Windows Forms anymore, but you should be using WPF to write your applications. So, yes, no Qt. And then I guess if you're on Mac or whatever, you should be using Cocoa or whatever the hell they use. Alright, cool. What does my real job contain? Well, I'm a software engineer, so engineering, some software, is what I do at work. I sit down and I write code. Much like what I'm doing now. Except probably a bit more complicated. I have to say, no, I'm not at my parents' place. So this is my other room. I used to stream in my bedroom, but now I've moved into this little office room that I had because my housemate moved out. I've written plenty of games. I've written like 6 games or 7 games during 11 days. So I don't just make engines. I like making engines because it's fun. I'm using Windows because Windows is good and much better than anything else. I don't know what my typing speed is. Probably just above 100 words per minute. Alright, cool. I'm done answering questions. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. I will probably stream again. Maybe on the weekend, maybe not. Who knows? I'm just thinking when I'll be streaming next. I don't know. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/TheChano, because I'll announce it there. I'm sorry if you just got here. Again, that is a first world problem that anyway. No, Linux is bad. I don't like Linux. Alright, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Man, my framing has been terrible. I've just been like this, haven't I? I swear it's this chair, it keeps sinking. Oh, I gotta work on this setup a little bit, because I'm pretty sure I was just halfway off the frame for most of that. So I apologize for that. Again, you can catch this on YouTube, if you go to the Channel Archive channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.